Hello, it's such a lovely evening. I thought I'd just do a little tour of the garden. Um, we're sort of getting towards the end of April now, and there's lots of colour already. I've particularly enjoyed having these tulips here because last year I didn't have any in this bed. Well, I put lots in this bed, but rodents of some sort, either squirrels or rats, dug them all up, and all my cutting tulips that I had planted over there they took as well. Got some new ones, planted them all, and at the same, although there were already quite a lot of alliums in this bed, I planted some more, and almost in the same holes as the tulips, because nothing ever goes after the alliums. I think the oniony smell is probably a deterrent, so I thought, well, if they don't go after the alliums, they might leave the tulips alone as well. And as you can see, that's worked really well. And although I'm usually quite fussy about choosing individual varieties, this was actually a collection. It was a Sarah Raven in her sale towards the end of the season, so they were at least half price, and they're quite a lot. And these beautiful red ones, and normally red isn't a colour that I go for because I find it quite hard to mix with things, but it's got this sort of crimson sheen which picks out these ones, and I'll either put on the screen or I'll put in the description box what these are. And there's some other ones, sort of more slightly sort of peachy coloured ones coming as well. So I'm really pleased, and you know, they're so big as well, which is making up a bit for the fact that my lily flowered ones in front of the summer house here haven't done so well. In fact, I only had about 3 that side, and I've got 4 that side. They're one of my favourite varieties called ballerina. Those are faded a bit. I'm just noticing how tall all the tulips are this year. Maybe it's because of all the water, all the rain. They usually a bit more vivid when they come out. They're sort of dark orange with a sort of orangey pink splodge, and they have a lovely scent as well. So I'll definitely replant those. I do find I have to do it every so often with these ones. They're not reliably perennial. But I do like it with that self-seeded honesty that's behind. Yeah, this is so pretty at the moment. I mean, it's not a lot of my doing, although I did plant that quince tree. But the sea of forget-me-nots just seeds themselves, and it looks so lovely that I just leave them. And I've got a few sort of gaps. Sometimes I spend more time, there are loads in this corner, not so many there. Sometimes I spend time earlier in the year and redistribute them. I didn't, because I've been quite busy this spring. And I just love it with probably a bit hard to see. I'll do a close-up. The blossom on the quince tree. And honestly, that and the forget-me-nots, there probably isn't anything prettier in the whole garden all year, I think. And then these are, again, self-seeded Spanish bluebell. I do try and rogue them out when I find them in other places in the garden, although you can see there's some in that bed beyond the pond there. I really went over that bed thinking, but it's very hard. I don't know if you've ever tried to dig them out. They easily break off, so you take off the leaves and the spent flower, but you often leave the bulb behind. So it's hard to get rid of them. I mean, they are lovely. They're a bit thuggish compared with our native bluebell. I sort of think of this as my wild area underneath the quince tree. And because this is my sort of shady spot in the garden, I've got some ferns. I've got quite a lot of hellebores. I've got some geraniums coming up and some aquilegia, and this beautiful plant, which is Dicentra spectabilis. The pink one's a little bit more common. That's lovely as well, but I particularly love this white. There's something about white and a sort of fresh green that's, I think, always really pretty, isn't it? So this bed, which is quite a large bed, we had it reconfigured a couple of years ago to make it larger. So we decided to have these paving put through it so we could get through it. It's looking a lot better now than it did a couple of days ago because I've done some major weeding sessions. I would say it was by design, but I have this sort of slight theory that if you leave weeds till they're quite big, A, you can spot them more easily, and B, they're easier to take out in a way because you can just, unless the really deep ones that you have to dig out. And I actually quite enjoyed it. It was very satisfying. But you can see there are lots of things coming, lots of perennials. I've got these sedum. This is an echinops, the globe thistle. Lots of clumps of those, a really large pale yellow scabious. I've got several clumps of those, and I've got dahlias, lots that I've just left in the ground this year, and a lot of them are starting to shoot, so I think I've been lucky, but I won't know for sure until later on. And then and foxgloves, lots of lovely foxgloves, and some lilies as well, and some peonies, and a few shrubs. What I'm trying to do with this bed is not make it too much that you have sort of tall at the back and short at the front. I'm trying to make it more interesting, so you've got different levels. Let me take you through, show you my problem area. I say problem, it's quite a nice problem to have. So this area in the corner, when we had the paving slabs put down, we thought, well, this is actually probably the sunniest spot because it gets the last of the summer in the evening. Let's put some more slabs. So we had 3 put across there, and the idea was that we would have some sort of seating there. Now, that hasn't happened because we realised we just don't sort of sit out here in the evening particularly. And when we do, we've got these chairs that we kind of move around the garden. So we could bring these there. So we're thinking about what to do. We're either going to put some sort of ornament, or maybe just one of those really big obelisks, because I've got lots of climates that I'm growing, and that would look rather spectacular there. So that's a work in progress. I've got lots of roses that are in about their 2nd or 3rd year now, so I'm hoping I'm going to get some good flowers from them. And as you can see, when I've pruned them over winter, I've been trying to keep them quite horizontal, because then you get the new growth going upwards, and each one of those should carry a rose. That's why you sometimes get those absolutely wonderfully fan trained. So you can either do them completely horizontally, or you can sort of curve them down, but that's the best way to get lots of flowers. Oh, and I've got this lovely little patch of lily of the valley. I don't know how well this shows on camera, because I think it's making, because it's sunny, it's making the dark look darker. There's these beautiful lily of the valley. I should pick a few of those, because you only need a few to create a wonderful scent. And then this shrub is looking rather fantastic. It's Pittosporum, and it's called aureus, which obviously means gold. Apparently, if you grow it more in the shade, you keep the sort of limey green colour, but this is in a very sunny spot, so you're getting this sort of really lovely golden yellow, and it's lovely to use in flower arrangements. So this is my terrace area, which is both somewhere where I put lots of pots, as you can see. It's also quite a functional area, and I'll show you some of those in a minute. But one of the things we wanted to do when we redesigned the garden, I've just noticed a bit come through dead nettle. This is the bit I haven't weeded yet, as you can see. There's some buttercups See, I've done lots, but there's still lots to do. I'm not by any means saying this is a perfect garden. Yes, one of the things when we redesigned this was that we wanted to hide the front of the terrace just because it sticks up a bit proud. And I think, because you can hardly see it, so I think that's worked really well. And these sort of lipstick pink tulips are called Doll's Minuet, and they've been coming up year after year, so that's pretty good. Please do ask anything about, if there's a plant you want to know, please do ask me in the comments. I love talking about plants, so any question would be fine. Those plastic tubs, I did have some sort of pot dahlias, the sort of shorter ones, and they've all rotted. The ones in the ground, so far, the ones I've looked at have been okay, fingers crossed. But just being in those plastic pots over winter obviously didn't drain enough. So that's a useful lesson, even if I have learnt something. So what I've got instead are some ranunculus that I've been growing in the greenhouse over winter. And then I've put them out. And I should be picking them really. They're called butterfly ranunculus, and they're very pretty, and they also last really long in the vase. And also, the more you pick, the more you get. So I've just got to be bold and pick some. I might do that for an arrangement tomorrow, which I might film myself doing, not quite sure yet. So let me take you in for a closer look. So here I've got the more usual sort of ranunculus you might be familiar with these wonderful, they're sort of like a double buttercup really, and they are in the same family. So I've got some dark ones and some warm ones and some pink ones, and then I've got a lot of anemones, and these have been flowering for a long time as well. And I'm really pleased with how these have turned out because they've been out here all winter. I've got a couple of polycarbonate sheets that I put on the top, so when they were little they were protected. But honestly, I think I'm going to do it like this every year because I'm getting earlier flowers. I mean, there's just so many buds to come. I'm going to pick a lot of those tomorrow to make my flowers with. And that's been really successful. And they're just also beautiful. I just love them. And, oh, there are buds on this rose already. Everything's starting early. And if you're wondering what that is, we've just had these solar panels put above our sort of car park area, and I was a little bit nervous about, I mean, we've been planning this for ages, and I was a little worried about how it would make the garden look, but actually they've done such a nice job and designed it so well that I got used to it in about 5 minutes, so that's been really good. Plus it gives my husband something to fuss about how much it's charging, whether the Wi-Fi is talking to the Wi-Fi in the house, so that gives him lots to do. And Ellie's come out to join us now, of course. This bed here has got, if you're wondering what all this lime green flowery stuff is, it's a type of euphorbia called Euphorbia oblongata, and it seeds itself, and I don't mind because I'm grateful for every bit, because not only does it sort of set off the really vivid colours so wonderfully, I use loads of it in my flower arrangements and bouquets, and it's probably my number one foliage filler because it's just so easy. And I've got lots of these irises that actually came with the garden, so I don't know what variety they are, but they're beautiful pale blue, sort of lavendery blue, so with the lime green, it's a lovely combination. And I'm just working on a piece of art which incorporates that photo I took of one of these irises. I can see lots of grass in there that needs pulling up, but I will get round to that. And over in the cutting garden, so this is where I grow my sweet peas, and I'll link a video about that if you're interested in this system. You don't have to just have a raised bed to do this, you just need some sort of frame. I wind string round it and I knot it every so often just in case there's a breakage or something happens, I don't lose the whole lot. And the idea is that when the sweet peas grow up, because if you're cutting them, you want to keep the stems as straight as possible. And normally if you're doing that, you would tie them in. This way you can just twist them round the string. So it's sort of like more time consuming to set it all up, but then the rest of the season it makes it really easy to keep your sweet peas straight stemmed and good for cutting. I've got lots of things coming on. I've sown some seeds. I'll do a more in-depth tour of the summer garden when there's more to see. So this area went a bit of a transformation last year. We had these two big box balls, again, that I inherited with the house, and they were starting to get light and looking quite tatty. So they came out, and I put some hydrangea limelight either side, and I put lots of bulbs in the autumn. So I've had muscari, I've had these very dainty narcissi, and I got some tulips that can particularly cope with shade. I know that the red and yellow one is called gavotte, and I'll write down what the white one is. I think one year I had them in a collection, good for shade, they said, so I looked up again. You couldn't get the same collection, but I just ordered them separately, and I'm pleased with how colourful that looks. And then these tulips are all some of my, I say these are my favourites. I have so many favourites, but I mean, look at these. Again, they're getting really tall, I think because of all the rain. So this is called Slawa, and I mean, I love lily-shaped ones, but the colour combination is just exquisite on this, I think. And they've got, and they've been doing really well in pots. And then in this bed, I've just got two main varieties. I thought there'd be more coming up, but as not all tulips are perennial, so they just haven't come up. Some of them I've thought might come up, but I did plant a lot of Belle Epoque, which are the creamy coloured ones. And would this be my desert island tulip? I don't know. If there was such a thing, maybe that would be a good idea. Desert island flowers. This one's called Wyndham, and I just love the sort of subtle colours on this. You've got the cream and all these sort of ruffled feathers. You've got the dark crimson, and you've got a bit of green on the edge. I'll put some shots in of some close-ups. And the foliage in here, I've got quite a lot of the purple sage and some mint that is going a bit rampant. But I thought, well, I planted it in a pot. But as you can see. But again, I love I could pull it all up, but I mean, it could go mad in this bed, but it's not really going to go anywhere else. Oh, that is a weed, that can come up. So that's about it really. I'm kind of pleased with how it's looking. I'm having an open garden when I have my art exhibition at the end of May, so I'm hoping there's going to be a good succession of things coming on, but I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. See you again soon.